think that we have this love affair with the material and that we're also connected with the stone. But it's really a rude process. It's noisy. Cutting through stone is hard and loud, and chipping it, you hit it hard with a hammer. It's only in the end when it feels like the pietà. It has that sort of drapey, velvety feeling to it.
Stone. It's one of the most unyielding of all mediums. Few artists have the patience for it. But for sculptor Richard Deutsch, it's one of several materials of choice. Materials that allow him to create works designed to outlast us all.
The scale of Richard's work is pretty monumental in many cases. There's one piece at the American President Line building at 1111 Broadway in Oakland that is composed of a huge propeller from a ship. Other pieces there are made of granite and marble and are very large.
Richard Deutsch has always worked on a monumental scale, choosing materials that present a host of challenges, but promise permanence. He started out in clay, then stone, and bronze. And now he's experimenting with ultra-light materials like carbon fiber and fiberglass.
Since my work is really large, the biggest obstacle I have is weight. So I wanted to start working with materials where I could pursue larger ideas and not have them weigh so much. You can see it's not that heavy.
Most of Richard's work is produced on commission for site-specific installations. In this case, it's a sculpture designed for Pineapple Sails, a sail manufacturer in Alameda. The pieces have been fabricated out of fiberglass, shaped in molds used to create the hulls of ocean racing boats.
These shapes come from a racing sailboat. All of the design of those shapes are merely for performance. Beauty has nothing to do with it. And so what I get to do by using those molds is I get to take the inherent beauty of it and transform it into a sculptural event.
With each new commission, there are surprises, and this one is no exception.
We came here yesterday and we drilled these holes and we realized that we were right in front of a cross beam. So I was up until about 1 or 2 in the morning trying to kind of architect our new brackets and then welding them. Thanks for being patient.
No problem. Amounts 480 total.
Okay.
That's
Wait.
COD, so.
Yeah, I told him I was going to pay with a credit card.
That's fine.
So, do you want my card?
Yep.
The artist working in the manner that Richard works is almost a producer. Besides being a creative person, has to do a lot of administration, has to round up capable people to do a variety of tasks, and has to be able to supervise the whole operation from the very beginning to the actual installation of the piece.
So we want to go up a little bit, just a hair. I think what's appealing to me is the creative process and taking something and making it into something else. I like the concept of it, and I like the finish of it. What happens in between, to me, is just pure work and dedication to doing something that's very uncomfortable. So I have no romance with the process in that way, but I like the outcome.
This is Stanford.
Yeah, I like that too.
a lot.
Over the years, Richard has established close working relationships with many of his clients. Among them, Ron and Anita Warnick, who hired him to design and install a sculpture at their Napa Valley estate.
I think I said, you have to pick a site that talks to you, and then think about what you'd like to do there. Think of how you'd like to make it. Well, naturally, he took the very center of the front yard.
This is a process in sort of sketching three-dimensionally. And that's how I discover the work, is in just fooling around with these pieces.
This is how every one of Richard's projects begins, no matter how monumental. For the Warnick Commission, Richard chose to work with rough-hewn granite slabs, slices of giant boulders from Yosemite, represented here by chips of slate. His goal was to create a gigantic sprung arch, reminiscent of the ruins he had visited in Italy early in his career. Once the basic concept was established here, Richard moved to the computer, where he experimented with placement and scale, using photographs of the site itself.
When the dimension started establishing itself, when we started realizing 8 to 10 feet in height is not going to do it, we may have to go to 12 now. Let's try another few feet, and pretty soon we were threatening 30 feet in height. Even Richard began thinking, wait a minute.
Richard's final design called for 7 granite slabs, weighing more than 50 tons, making it a feat of both art and engineering. It took 3 months working on site for Richard to complete the Warnick Commission, which he calls 7 Stones. During that time, he managed a team that included engineers, crane operators, and construction workers, and a budget that soared to 6 figures. The Warnicks were out of town during most of the construction and returned just in time for its completion.
You have to be fearless when you commission a piece as monumental as 7 Stones, because you don't know, you really don't know, looking at a maquette, what the eventual piece will look like. The first time we saw it actually constructed, driving up the driveway, returning from Italy, and wondering, well, will we like it, will we not like it? And being so excited and blowing the horn, in the car and waving and cheering, and it was terrific.
Slabs of granite could not be less interesting. But once they'd been assembled, the surprises that you find in the piece are enormous. I mean, even the creator could not have known that as you walk around that piece, there are 1,000 pieces.
I wanted this to feel like we took a slice of the mountain and dragged it down here, and then, did something that, maybe in 400 or 500 years from now, when there's no record of this, that they'll make up some story about how this thing was erected. I wanted to have the viewer feeling that this is a mystery. What is this, and how did it get here? I love it. Yeah, I love it.